to you wherever you're tuning in from. We got another early morning live. This live is even earlier than the live I did yesterday. It is about 5:30 in the morning here on the East Coast. So wherever you're at, I'm not sure where you're looking in or where you're tuning in from. It's probably, I know in Cali, it's what, 2:30 in the morning. And if you're in Hawaii, it's what, 11:30. So I probably will be the only one on this live this morning, but that's okay. Um, I've been getting up earlier and earlier in the morning because it feels good. It feels good to get the day started early. Um, Also, I find that when I'm out and about early, there's less people outside. There's less traffic. There's just less stuff going on. So I'm able to move about and do what I need to do a little bit easier. So I really am starting to dig these early morning lives. I can get up, I can get my exercise in, I can get my meditation in, I can enjoy a early morning cup of coffee, which is always good, and just talk to you guys. So, um, really, the main thing that I wanted to talk about this morning was the fact that I was able to get a new lease on life when it comes to one of my favorite cameras. Um, so I've always recorded on the Sony A7S. This was one of the first mirrorless cameras I ever got. I got it back in 2017, I want to say, or either 2017 or 2016, one of those windows. I think it was 2017. I got this camera and I had been filming on it for years. I've taken this camera with me many places. It was my travel camera for a really long time, and it's been through it. So as you can see, it's got scars and scratches, and if you look on the back here, the viewfinder is pretty much shattered. So completely shattered viewfinder. The LCD screen, it's got years of, I don't know what you want to call that, if you want to call that like hand grease, but this camera was put through the ringer by me. And it was kind of like on its last leg. But I was able to connect with a Manhattan, basically an artist in Manhattan, pretty much a well-known photographer, has work published, and he was actually selling pretty much a brand new Sony A7S. So this is the one that I was able to get from him. Really awesome condition on this. It's got a little bit of scuffing here and there, but for the most part, this thing is in like new condition. I didn't realize it was on, but the screen is in great shape. Um, the most important thing is that it doesn't have a shattered viewfinder. So the viewfinder isn't destroyed. So it's got a good viewfinder there. LCD screen is almost new. So much better condition on this one, which is awesome because, obviously I can't use the viewfinder on this one. It's been pretty much destroyed. And I've just had this one for a really long time. Now, the funny part is that I can still record on this camera. I can still film. It still has pretty much all of its functionality. The only thing is that it's really beat up and the viewfinder is shattered. So what I'm thinking is that I will probably, if I don't sell this camera, I might put it together in like a cinema setup, or this might be like my gimbal camera, like my run and gun gimbal camera. And then this A7S will be the one that I keep in handheld mode and just run around with this one strapped to my neck. So, um, this is actually the first generation of Sony A7S. They've come out with the Mark II. I think the Mark II came out in like 2017-ish, somewhere around there, maybe 2018, I can't remember. And then they came out with the A7S III in 2020. And so a lot of people have really been on like the A7S III. I'm a big fan of the A7S, the original still. One, it's really small, it's really light. Two, I don't need all of these modern capabilities. Stanley, what's going on? I don't need a lot of the upgraded features that come with like the Sony A7S III and the A7S II. I don't film in 4K. I don't need 10-bit 422 internal. A lot of what I shoot in AVC HD anyway. I know it's not the best color codec for you to film in, but for me, I don't do a lot of work on like Lightroom. I'm not one of those guys who does a lot of coloring in post. And if you're a person who really likes to work in like Lightroom and Adobe Premiere and you like to do all the coloring and color grading and all that stuff, then you're really going to like that stuff because obviously all those features give you more flexibility. I'm the type of person who I like to shoot the final product right out of the camera as much as I can, and I don't need these extremely large file sizes. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have ever filmed in your like 4K or shot in RAW or shot in 10-bit. These are very large file sizes that could take up a lot of space on your PC or on your computer, and the rendering of those files just takes forever. And so if I was doing like more professional work, which I've done professional work in the past, then maybe that would matter. But a lot of this is for fun, it's for hobby, and it's really for family video. And to be quite honest with you, the images that I'm able to produce and get out of these cameras without any additional, features, um, I'm more than pleased with. I don't need 4K or any of that because I tend to stay away from the over digitized look. I don't like when images look super digital. I'm just not a fan of that. I prefer more of a vintage type of feel, which is why a lot of the lenses that I adapt to these cameras are vintage lenses anyway. Like this one here, the Canon FD. This is the 35 to 70. So I'm typically adapting vintage lenses to these cameras to begin with anyway. So I'm not really looking for the super crystal clear, like I don't need all that. And so that's great. And honestly, I would recommend if anyone wanted to get into film or videography or even photography, I would still recommend the Sony A7S even in 2025 because one, you can pick one of these up for 500 bucks, so it's super cheap. And if you did want to like go to the next level, let's say you did want to, film something professional, you can still get a professional level image out of this camera with an external recorder like Atomos Shogun or like a Atomos Ninja 5 or Ninja V. I have the Atomos Ninja V. With those external recorders, you can record up to 4K, I think 10-bit 422. So if all that stuff really matters to you, then that's cool. But me, I was really stoked to be able to pick this up. And I got a complete in box. And as a video gamer, you guys know how us gamers love complete in box stuff. So when I can get my favorite camera complete in box, I was stoked. Let's see. Keith Cook says, Spoke Noise has had one message to the world. What will it be? I don't know what that means, Keith Cook, but good morning, sir. So yeah, so definitely was glad about that. So I'm up really early this morning because we're going to be doing an early morning flight. We're going to be taking flight really early this morning. I want to see if I can catch a sunrise with the DJI Mini 4 Pro. I've got all my batteries charged. I've got it all set up here. I'm going to just do some quick preliminaries before I take off. And gonna get ready to, kind of get things going here. So, but I did just want to kind of share with you guys, really stoked. This is my original A7S. This will always be my favorite camera. And I got another one. So that is really cool. So that's part of what the first part of the day is going to be about. It's going to be about this here. And sorry again. Oh, hey, Y2K is a morning person. Good. Yeah, I'm starting to become a morning person. Keith Cook says, what I meant is if you had one message to the world, what would it be? Oh, okay, got you, got you, got you. If I had one message to the world, what would it be? Wow, that's a, sorry, I'm sipping some coffee here, so just bear with me. I just need to take a sip of that. So he said, if I had one message to the world, it would be peace, love, happiness, open-minded, being unique, just nice. Okay, so if I had one message to the world, what would it be? Um, I guess it would be learn to be satisfied. I don't know. Being satisfied, be satisfied with where you're at, be content with what you have. I think, I mean, if you use the Bible as a reference point, I know not everyone does, but if you look at Cain and Abel, right? Son of Adam and Eve, first murder recorded in the history of the world, right? Cain kills his brother. Kills his brother, why? Because he wants what he has. He wasn't content with what he had. And when you're not content with what you have, that's the birthplace of envy. And I think it just kind of all goes downhill from there. You know, if you believe in Star Wars, um, and not just Star Wars, like if you notice, if you watch movies like Star Wars or even like Heat, for those of you, I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen that movie Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, one of my favorite movies of all time, two of my favorite actors of all time. What does De Niro say in Heat? He says, never get too attached to anything that you can't leave in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat coming. You feel the heat coming, you got to be able to leave it in 30 seconds flat, right? Um, and, you know, De Niro, he has a good point. And Yoda kind of says the same thing. He's like, um, Yoda pretty much tells Anakin, he's like, listen, your desires, your feelings, the things that you get attached to, that's what creates anger, bitterness, envy, jealousy, all that stuff. So be content with what you have. Be okay with losing stuff, and just never get too wrapped up, man. I think you'll be okay. Sema Way says, what kind of work are you in? Just curious. No need for specifics. I am in corporate management. I would just say that. So I manage corporate teams. It's what I do. It's boring. It's very boring. I know you didn't ask for specifics, so I won't give any. But that's what I do. I manage corporate teams, and I've been doing it for a long time. Let's see. Keith Cook says, all I want to do with my life is play the electric guitar and direct horror movies. Hey, that's nothing wrong with that. Listen, man, if I had my way, if I could choose what I got up and did every day, I would love to own like a barbecue pit, man. Like a barbecue stand somewhere like on an island where tourists could just come and try my barbecue. I'll never forget one of the first times I went to Hawaii. Um, there's this road, it's called the Road to Hana. Some of you may have heard of it. And I remember we got on the road to Hana and we were taking off. And when we like at the beginning of the road, like before it starts to get real windy, because that road gets real windy and you're driving like on the edge of cliffs and stuff, and it's pretty, before it gets real windy, we made a stop because we were driving with the windows down, and as we're cruising through, I hear like Biggie. I'm hearing like Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just sit. So I'm in Hawaii. I'm like, yo, who's bumping Biggie? Like, who's blasting Biggie? And I'm like, I'm a New York native. So I'm like, of course, I'm like, oh, they're bumping Biggie out here? So I we drive and we see like this dude, and he has like this huge like makeshift barbecue pit. Like he made it himself, like out of bricks and bamboo and just metal wiring, and it just looks something out of like just like a foreign film or something. He had just this makeshift barbecue grill, and he's like blasting 90s hip hop, like Biggie, Tupac, um, Wu-Tang. I mean, if you think Be Real, what's that group out of Cali? Be Real, and I can't remember what they're called, what the name is, but he's just bumping all this, all this music, and I remember just a real chill looking dude, and we stopped, we were gonna get some coffee, and I started talking to the guy. And long story short, the guy told me that he used to work on Wall Street. He worked on Wall Street. He was in investments, in the thick of it, in the throes of it, making millions, I would assume, just based on the way he described things, and had dedicated his life to corporate America, and just gave me this whole long backstory. So I asked him, I was like, well, dude, like, what are you doing here on like a random Tuesday on the side of the road in Maui selling barbecue? And he went ahead and told me how, he was married, he got divorced. It was a bad divorce, split custody. And so after his divorce, he just decided to, walk away. He walked away from corporate America. He walked away from his 6 to 7 figure income job on Wall Street, hung up his suits, put away his ties, and decided that he was going to fly to Hawaii and do a complete career change. And he gave up Wall Street to sell barbecue on the side of the road and blast 90s hip hop all day. And I'll never forget that. Like, I'll never forget the look of peace on this guy's face. Like, he didn't have, I mean, he wasn't making Wall Street money. He's not going to make that kind of money selling barbecue. He's not, living in the fast, run and gun pace of New York City. He's not dealing with that, but he had like a certain level of peace, man, a certain level of contentment. And I think that's something that I had always admired. That story was something that I had always admired, because I was always like, you know what? I think that if you can know yourself enough and know what you want out of life enough to make that type of a major life move, that just speaks to the inner peace that you could have. So seek inner peace, man. That would be my thing. All that being said, yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this drone here. I've got my camera here. I'm probably gonna see if I can catch some sunsets, some beach waves. I'm probably gonna maybe I'll go by the beach. Maybe I'll do that. So those two are coming with me, and then also gonna be selling some stuff today, man. I've got some sales that I'm gonna be doing. I've got some video games that I'm moving out of the collection for sure. A few GameCube games that I plan on selling today. A few GameCube games. So Smash Bros. I've got a copy of Smash Bros. That I'm looking to move out of the collection. So this is going to get sold. I've got a copy of Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube. Also looking to get this out of the collection. These games are in pretty good condition too, man. Yeah, not for nothing. These are in pretty good shape. So we got Star Fox. That one's getting sold. We've got Sonic Gems Collection. So this one is also another one that is going to get sold. That manual is pretty crispy. I don't lie. Pretty good manual. So getting that one sold. And then Super Mario Sunshine. This is also another one that I'm going to be getting sold out of the collection here. So a few games that I'm going to be selling off. Games that I don't need. I've got like boxes of games, honestly, that I'm gonna start moving out of the collection. Just games that I'm not really playing like that. And I also have a bunch of doubles. I'm also considering certain complete in box consoles. That's something that I'm interested in doing. Like, I've got a complete in box Sega CD console that I want to sell, because I have 2 Sega CDs. I don't need 2 Sega CDs. Like, I really don't. So I'm working on that. I've also got a complete in box Dreamcast that I want to sell. Don't need 2 Dreamcasts. And then the same thing, I have a complete in box Sony PlayStation 2, which is in like new condition, that I want to sell too, because again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 PlayStation 2s. I don't need 4 PlayStation 2s. Like, it's ridiculous now. Also got some N64s that I want to get out of the collection as well. So I'm going to be working on getting that out of the collection, and just moving some items out of the collection. So I've got that on the list of to-dos for today, along with getting out there and getting some drone action in. So yeah, hopefully I'll be back with you guys this afternoon. I'm probably going to do an edited video too. It's been a while, and I want to start showing you guys some of this footage, because I know some of you guys are probably like, man, this guy does not know how to film anything. So I want to get some of this footage, add some of that to one of these edited videos for you guys. But that does it for me. Good morning to you all. Hopefully you all seize the day. It's Monday, Carpe Diem. I'm going to go warm up this coffee, and I will catch you all in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.